Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Cioffi on this Wednesday. Very warm, very humid day getting underway. Thought I'd start with the remnants of Tropical Storm Emily, which is really no more. It's just a disorganized area of clouds. You can see it here well off the Florida coast and the southeast coast of the U.S. moving away to the northeast. And what we are seeing here is that Emily just basically got absorbed by the old cold front that we'll show you in a second on a wider satellite view. Okay, so now that we're saturated in this tropical air mass, and we are going to see some pop-up thunderstorms today, and the Storm Prediction Center actually has placed most of northeastern and southeastern Pennsylvania in a marginal risk for severe weather, as is most of New Jersey to New York City, the Hudson Valley up to about Albany, and most of the southern half of New England. The coastline for Long Island seems to be the border here. There might be a few pop-ups there, but judging from the way things happen with respect to the sea breeze along the coast, the marginal risk line will probably be pushed inland. There were a few scattered heavy thunderstorms that developed yesterday. The general risk of thunderstorms extends south and west of there, all of New England down through south central Pennsylvania, north central Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, and Ohio, on back westward. And then we have another slight risk that pops up into the plains. Now, the next 2 days are going to see these pop-up storms, and I just want to roll on to tomorrow, where the slight and marginal risk shift to the Great Lakes. But on Friday, as a cold front begins to near the East Coast, we're going to see an increasing slight risk for severe weather for much of Pennsylvania, and a marginal risk for the remaining part of the state into northwest New Jersey, the Hudson Valley. You have slight risk up through western and north central New York, and that extends back down into southern southeastern Ohio, northwestern West Virginia, and that marginal risk goes down from there. So maybe we might see a few severe cells developing over the next couple of days in a few places. We'll watch to see what happens this afternoon. We've got these upper air disturbances that are kind of swinging through now. None of them are especially strong. You can see them rotate on the satellite, so that's probably the reason why you'll see some storms today, maybe a bit more than the last 2 days, because there at least is a mechanism for something to develop during the afternoon and during the evening hours. Here's the enhanced satellite view. We do have some clouds that are rolling through parts of the northeast. Just freshen it up for you. You can see it here. They extend back down southward, down through Virginia. So there's moisture available for something to happen. And here's the old frontal trough that's sitting offshore that has picked up the remnants of Emily and moved it to the northeast. And then we have another stronger system. This is the leading edge of what's going to be the cold front that's going to approach here on Friday and on Saturday. Out in the west, just a quick peek here. It's typical summertime. You can see the line of sunrise with the visible satellite picture sweeping westward. Not really too much happening. Another very hot day in the Pacific Northwest with temperatures over 100. The rest of the Southwest getting some thunderstorms from time to time. There's some moisture that's coming up, some monsoonal moisture that's coming up from Mexico into the Southwest. So they've seen quite a bit of shower and thunderstorm activity there in the last week or so. Out in the tropics, we are quiet in the Atlantic. There are tropical waves out here, but they are weak. There's a little system in the Gulf, but that's weak too. The Hurricane Center actually highlights 2 of those systems, the one wave here out in the Atlantic and the other one in the Gulf of Mexico, and they both rated a 0 chance of development in the last for the next 5 days. And of course, with how fast Emily developed, you almost want to cynically say that something's going to happen here in the next 5 days. But right now, we don't see too much going on. You still have that dry air north of 20 degrees north, and to the south, you've got the tropical waves. Notice a little patch of dry air that's moved off the African coast pretty far to the south in the intertropical convergence zone in the major development area, and all these waves continue to move westward. We don't see too much of an upper low, big upper low. There is a new upper low that looks like it's dropping southward in the central Atlantic again. So we're going to have to see how this evolves. If this winds up blowing up into another big upper air system, that remains to be seen. On the Pacific side, by the way, things appear to be quieting down. So usually when the Pacific quiets down, the Atlantic picks up. We'll see how that goes. Now, the longer range pattern. I'm going to start with the European today. The European has a somewhat amplified look here with this trough. Here's the next trough that's going to swing around for Friday into Saturday. So we've got this west-southwest flow here for now, and then that pushes a cold front through here Saturday evening, should lead to some drier air on Sunday before another trough swings through on Monday into Tuesday, and then another one follows that for the end of next week. So still pretty busy here, at least through the 10-day period. The GFS, I'm going to switch off now. We'll go to the GFS. Let me just get the upper air on this, and then I'll show you the surface. There we go. So let's take a look at the GFS now. Let's back away. So here we are at the present time. You can see the gentle west-southwest jet that's overhead. That's bringing these little disturbances. They're almost hard to pick out in the upper atmosphere. They're there, but they're relatively weak. It's not like there's a major trough coming through. So this is the reason why the storms have been more pop-up than widespread. When we get this trough to swing around, this is where for late Friday and for Saturday, late Saturday, we'll probably see some more widespread activity. After that, I think Sunday looks nice and dry, a little break from the humidity, then another front will approach, and then that lifts out, and here's the next system for later next week that swings around. The GFS is perhaps a little less dynamic than that with the European, and then it drops yet another trough as we move through the middle part of the month. So, the basic premise continues to be that ridge in the west, the trough, the ridge in the west, the trough in the east, and there's very little change in that dynamic going forward. This has been the ruling upper air pattern for a long time now. At some point, it's going to get long in the tooth and morph into something else, but we're in that point in the summertime where things kind of remain unchanged overall. So I'm not looking, I don't see anything and haven't seen anything that would indicate something different happening. So you see the chances for showers and storms. Here's for Friday night into Saturday. It looks like that front finally gets through here Saturday afternoon and evening. Nice little dry, slightly cooler patch for Sunday. And then on Monday, with that next trough swinging around, that front stalls out and a wave develops on it. So we'll have to watch that to see if that will mean something. Looks like a bit of an onshore flow sets up here for early next week. And then that low moves away, and we just continue to see, these weather systems just rosying right along. And there's another front here for the weekend of August 12th, more chances for showers and storms, and on it goes. And there's another high. There's a nice high toward the end of the period that comes down and sets things up with yet another front that comes through toward the end of the 2-week period. We'll give a quick check now to the tropical regions and see if the models did anything over time. And my suspicion is it didn't. This is my first look at this. So, you can see these weak little lows that are out in the tropical Atlantic. You do have, that's from earlier this week. So now we're at the present time here, and they're still kind of out there, but we don't see the GFS really spinning up anything in particular going forward. Looks like something here along about day 8 or 9 near the Cabo Verde Islands, but that doesn't really do very much. And then toward the end of the period, there's yet another low of some sort that comes out near the Cabo Verde Islands, but we don't see any real development going on here during the 2-week period on the GFS. Jump to the Canadian, which always likes to spin things up, and I'm thinking that this maybe did not do that. Judging from the last couple of runs, it really hasn't been doing very much. So here's our present day. Moving forward, does try to actually respin up Emily, taking it toward Nova Scotia, but we'll see about that. And really, it doesn't show very much at all, and I don't believe the European showed very much at all either. As we take a look, and here it is out at day 10. I'll go back to the first day on the European. There's a little system. The European actually does spin up one of these things for early next week. You can see it here, right there, and it brings it into the Northeast Caribbean, and then it weakens it. Then it looks like it wants to spin up something in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico and take it toward the Mexican coast, and then that's gone. So the European perhaps a little bit more bullish with tropical activity than the other models. All right, folks, we're going to leave it right here today. I'm not going to have time to do a chat at the end, but thank you for joining me. And if you are on YouTube, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I do some live streams over there as well. And just hit the subscribe button and the notifications button so you'll get notified when the videos come up. I hope everybody has a great day, and we will talk to you on Thursday.